Hey everybody, I'm going to be making some baked frittatas today for family members. I've already oiled up some little mini tins over there. They're just little 5-inch tins, I think, from the dollar store. These are my fresh herbs from my arrow garden. Yummy, some parsley, some thyme, and basil. I'm going to pre-chop some of the ingredients. Oh yeah, I'm going to get some spinach too. And the ham. So usually for big tin, I would use like just rounds of tomatoes, but because these are smaller, I'm going to dice them up. Put them into a little bowl over here, so it's easier to put them between the little pie tins. So what I'm doing is I'm preheating the oven at 350, and I'm making these for family members so that all they have to do is reheat them in the oven. So I'm going to make them, freeze them, and then hand them out so that they have little breakfasts or brunch so that they don't have to worry about cooking. And it's just a nice way to use up some of that leftover ham. Eric, I know you asked me for a quiche, but I'm doing a frittata because I didn't feel like doing a crust today. So I'll do a quiche someday, but it's close enough, isn't it? Isn't it? No, you're gonna razz me and say, it's not a quiche, Christina or Chrissy. Anyway, some of the flavors that I like to have in a quiche are, bacon, tomato, basil, thyme, spinach. You can really put anything you want. Egg, cheese. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in there as well. Not too much spice for everybody else. I tend to like it. But a lot of people in my family can't handle very much spice. So generally, for basil, I do a chiffonade, but for this I just did a rough chop because you don't want the basil to overwhelm those little tins. But that's okay. This one's already really fragrant, and that's fine because I'm going to do a little potato salad later, and that is going to be a great little fresh addition. Not something that's typical that I put in, but fresh herbs are great in anything. So I'll do some fresh dill and some fresh basil. my potato salad. And put the parsley in there. This is all going to go into, well, it's going to go on top of the egg mixture or into the pan, and then I'll pour the egg mixture on top. I haven't decided which way I'm going to do it yet. I don't want too much of one thing going in, so I feel like I'm going to divvy it up and pour the egg mixture over top so that I have more control over the flavors that are in there. And see, because the thyme is so new, the sticks really haven't turned into anything hard, so you can just chop this right up. Next on deck is some spinach. If you have any bruised pieces, you're going to want to take that out because that's not really a nice flavor. And I don't know about you, but I always tend to have some bruised pieces in my spinach. So you're just going to want to make sure that you get those out. Slightly bruised is fine, but when they're really wilted, it's just a very bitter flavor. So I'm quite cautious about adding any of that into my dish. And again, just a rough chop. Now you want to be particularly careful with salt when you're using bacon or ham. And in this case, this ham was particularly salty. I am still going to add some salt to the eggs. You just want to season always all the way through. I'll just be a little more ginger with it than I would be if it were a less salty cut of ham. And again, I'll be adding the ham to the bottom of the trays, the little tins. Or maybe I'll put a little bit of egg mixture in. And then rest some meat and herbs. We'll see. I still haven't decided. I've never really done frittatas like this before. I usually cook them in a pan and finish them off in the oven. I've never started them or made them in these little mini tins, and I've never made mini frittatas before. So this is all just new to me, but I say that a lot. Whenever Tyler asks me what I'm making, I'm always saying, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And the great thing is I have more tins, so I can figure something else to do. Got more tins. Got more eggs. Although it doesn't look like it, there's a bunch of eggs in there if you can see that. Oh, and cheese. I have some pre-cut cheese, which I don't use very often, but I did last weekend. Oh, now I know why I went in that cupboard. I'm just going to grate some Parmesan, just on the regular size, or Parmesan, mozzarella. This is mozzarella, silly goose. You like looking at the top of my head? I'm sure it's wonderful. So I'm going to mix cheddar cheese and mozzarella today. Usually I like feta. You can use brie, although brie might make it look like your eggs aren't setting up because brie just looks runny like that. You can use any cheese you like, or no cheese at all. But we like cheese in this house, so we're going to use cheese. So my eggs are room temperature. It's actually pretty important when it comes to cooking eggs, although I know most of us don't do that when we cook eggs because we're usually in a rush. This is a seasoning salt that my family uses. I'm going to put garlic powder, and onion powder, if you just smack the top of the eggs, it'll just be easier to whisk. Maybe I didn't get the appropriate size bowl for how many eggs I was putting in, but to be honest with you, I wasn't really sure how many eggs I was going to put in here, but here we are. And I'm also going to put a touch of cream, because everything tastes better with cream. I don't care what you say, it just does. Unless you're vegan or lactose intolerant. But if those things don't apply to you, put the cream in. Definitely did not choose the right bowl for whisking. I'm gonna go with some finely ground freshly finely ground cracked pepper. Don't forget, that's a lot of eggs in there. Off. Good boy. There, and then when you've got a nice consistency, nice creamy consistency, got my big measuring cup. I don't know that it's all going to fit in here. But we will see. Oh, look at that. 4 cups of eggs, almost exactly. That's hilarious. Okay, so I think I've made up my mind. I'm going to maybe go behind with a ladle. Again, I've never done it quite this way before. Put a little bit down, catch it. Just enough to cover the bottom. So you don't have just all of your toppings sitting at the bottom. And again, I did lightly grease these. I think a bit more in this one. Go with a little bit of spinach. And like I said, luckily I'm making a little potato salad later, so whatever I don't use in these herbs can go right into there, the herbs and the spinach, and just get myself a nice little salad going on. Then I think I'll go a bit of ham. Try to even it out. There's lots of ham, so I don't have to be worried about using too much. But I do want to make sure that I can get these ones cooked. These are nice to make ahead. And I did a lot of my prep while chit-chatting with you. These would probably be very filling. You could probably cut one up and put them on an English muffin. You know, have 2 breakfast sandwiches. Split them up for 2 children. I'd say those look pretty even. Now I'm going to go in with some basil. And then I'll do some cheese. Should have put the cheese in a bowl. I just decided just to make a video today, so I'm not as prepared as I usually am, but that's okay. I'm not usually, to be honest with you, cat's out of the bag. I'm not usually prepared when I cook. That's some information for you right there. But that's sometimes when I make some of my best stuff. So here's to hoping that's what this ends up being for everybody that I give it to. Let no piece of cheese go wasted. A little bit of cheddar. A little bit of bite. Some tomatoes. Whoops. Extra tomatoes for everybody. Just a quick hand wash. And then some more of the egg mixture. Remember to leave some room for it to pop up. There we go. And then I've got my little parsley and thyme mixture for the top. And there we go. Some nice little packages for the oven. I'll see you back when they're close to done. So you see, they're all puffed up like this. And then you can shake the pan, not with your bare hand, they're all starting to deflate. And you don't see them jiggle in the center, and they're all set. And they are ready to come out. So they just sort of smell done, and they look done. See how they're starting to deflate? And then you'll want them to completely cool before freezing them. Man, don't they look good? I think so. Thanks for watching.